So I want to take a moment of silence to reflect on it and also adjust my microphone. Feel free to tell another one of those jokes. All right, I think we're good. Is it on? Can everyone hear me all right? All right. Well, I was in a very big rush to get here on time. And I biked just as fast as I could. I almost hit by several cars. I don't know, you can still see the sweat on my shirt. And there was one moment when I came to the back gate and I heard clapping. I'm like, oh no, is it my turn? Am I already late? Am I late? And I was like, I'm here. And I was like, I lifted my instrument in the air but no one could hear me. And so I was running right over there. I'm like, I'm here, and no one could hear me. And then I started biking really fast and wrapping around the corner, and I hit the brakes too soon, and I almost flew off my bike, and I was hopping, trying to protect the harp, and I was like hopping like this, and like trying not to hit the ground. And then I thought of the year 1978. 1978 is a very special year. Because that's the year that this very bizarre incident happened in Venezuela. I think it was Venezuela. When you watch those YouTube videos late at night and you're just clicking the next one and the next one. That's how I stumbled across it. It was a small documentary. And it's really bizarre because it's a documentary about Jesus in the cave. With the boulder and he's dead for a few days. And it had all of these famous actors from across Venezuela playing these huge roles. It was a really big deal. But at some point, the cave collapsed. And all of these famous actors were kind of stuck inside. And so naturally it became this huge media event, and everyone came out, and they were trying to desperately save these actors from the pit of the cave. And they finally got a few of the more famous ones out. But in the process, so much media attention, they realized that, wait a minute, this is getting a lot of publicity for the movie. Maybe we can be a little slower with the effort. And so they did. It was like a few people at a time, and at one point there were more camera people going down than actual people going up. And producers just kept giving the extras money and the lesser known actors some money. But after a while, they began to get upset. I mean, at first they were praying and doing these songs. It was really moving. But then they were smashing cameras and sending people back up. And just when the story was at its most exciting, there were no cameras. And so no one knew what was happening. So people lost interest. So the recovery effort took that much longer. I only say that because 1978 is also a very special year for something completely different. It's the year of a famous boxing match. I don't know if any of you were around for it. Maybe one, maybe two. But you had this legendary figure, Joe Baxter, not really well known today. He moved like a dam breaking, they say. His body could shiver in a panic. And he would describe his time in the ring as something mesmerizing and frightening. Like a large large animal stumbling towards you. And this was an especially interesting match because he was up against the lesser known Neil Lowe, who was a samba dancer, very smooth, not much of a boxer, but against all odds, he kind of rose to popularity. And got to fight the infamous Joe Baxter. Now they were moving back and forth, exchanging blows, dodging, and it was terrifying. You could hear the stumbling on the ground, and you wasn't sure if it was feet or bodies falling, or the thunder, or rain, or... I remember my dad was describing the event to me. At one point, the power went out, and he had to run 4 blocks to find someone with a television set so they could see it. The famous fight. And in the end, what do you know? Neil Lowe lost. He fell to the ground. Everyone was stunned. But the most important thing about this story is that after he fell and Joe Baxter won, he gave this speech. He said, "God bless Neil Lowe." And he hugged him. And he kissed his forehead and he began to cry. Now, I saw this image on YouTube, this very moment. It's real. You can still look it up if you type in Joe Baxter, and they call it the crying victory. He's hugging Neil Lowe on the ground, covered in sweat, a little bit of blood. I thought about this for a long time. And I think it's because a winner really has nothing without the loser. I mean, it's all empty accolades and titles and small parades. But without the loser, the winner just has a kind of a weak light that can't give life to anything. Just shallow sand that can't support roots. Just a faint wind that doesn't allow for flight. And the loser, the shorthand, the fall, the curse, the forgotten, the second child, the loser, well, I spent my whole life being a loser. You know, from a family of losers. Divorces, tax fraud, bankruptcy. It's not surprising, whole populations lose. I've read all the great books on losers, studied them. For a time, I was even employed as a fall for stock work. Though it doesn't ever get truly easy losing. Let me tell you a secret about losing. It doesn't get easier. there's something beautiful about it. When you lose, you're at this dark place. When you lose, you're very close to the possibility of the world if you had won. Suddenly, it's as if you're between places. Suddenly, it's as if you can commune with the pieces of you that were lost, that were better, were forgotten. Because you can heal a wound knowing you will still get sick. Because you can build something knowing that it will fall. Because you can put out a fire knowing that it will burn again. Because we live under a losing sky. The sun is victorious in the morning, but it's always night. We live in a losing world where life victors against death every time there's birth, but then there's death again. I think we even have a losing God somewhere up in there, creating a perfect world that only suffered from entropy, that only created people that rebelled against them, that only knew wholeness to be divided in so many different things. No surprise when I lost you everything. Well, no surprise that when I lost you everything. Well, no surprise that when I lost you everything. Well, it's no surprise. And even though we like this great big mythic battle between winners and losers, now there's just losers. There's no real fight. The winners just have always won, and they have the great parades where they cut these rainbows up in little confetti pieces, and they move down the streets and they wave a hand, and we're part of this mass, this great mass of people who had lost. And the fight's mostly symbolic. And the plants have lost, and the animals lost, and the moon is lost really, and the sun is lost, and the stars is lost, and we are lost really, and thoughts are lost, and the minds are lost, and our time is lost, and there's a great big losing all around. And I would say something about it, but then I lost what I was going to. Darkness, where seeds are kept. Dark like wounds are dark. Dark like tombs are dark. Dark like sleepless thought. You begin to dream of things that winners could never imagine. That's the piece. Also, just save yourself the effort. That's not a real boxing match. You're not gonna find it if you YouTube it. I just don't want anyone to be like up to like midnight, just like, where's this fight? I want to see this. You're not gonna find it.